Listen closely. Most men are prisoners, not behind bars, behind thoughts they never chose to think, behind beliefs planted by others, behind fears that exist only in their minds. You think you're free, you're not. Your mind has been colonized by your parents, your teachers, society, the media. They installed their operating system in your head before you could even read. And now you run their programs, live their limitations, fight their battles, fear their ghosts. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. The mind is a weapon, and right now, someone else is holding yours. Machiavelli understood something most men die without learning. Reality bends to the man who controls the narrative, not the narrative out there. The one in here in your skull. Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions drive your actions. Your actions build your reality. Control the first domino, and you control them all. This isn't philosophy. This isn't motivation. This is applied dark psychology. This is how power actually works. The fortress isn't made of stone. It's made of mental discipline, and I'm about to show you how to build it. Comment. I control the narrative. If you're ready to reclaim your mind. Number 2. The fortress blueprint. Here's what weak men don't understand. They think strength is about muscles, about aggression, about dominating others physically. That's primitive. That's survival of the loudest. Real power is invisible. It operates in silence. It moves through calculated thought. Machiavelli didn't conquer through force alone. He conquered through understanding human nature, through predicting behavior, through controlling perception. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. There is no middle ground. Every thought you allow to run wild is a crack in your armor. Every emotion you fail to control is a weakness your enemies will exploit. And make no mistake, you have enemies. People who benefit from your confusion, from your fear, from your distraction. They need you asleep. They need you reactive. They need you emotional. Because emotional men are controllable men. The fortress begins with one principle. Detachment, not apathy. Detachment. You observe your thoughts instead of becoming them. You feel your emotions without being ruled by them. You see the game being played and you choose your moves consciously. This is the difference between you and 99% of men. They react. You respond. They're triggered. You're calculated. They operate from emotion. You operate from strategy. Your mind becomes a fortress. When nothing external can penetrate your internal state, when insults bounce off, when rejection doesn't faze you, when success doesn't intoxicate you, when failure doesn't destroy you. This is mental sovereignty. This is what separates masters from slaves. And it starts with a decision. The decision that from this moment forward, you are the architect of your inner world. No one else gets access. No one else gets control. Comment. Mental sovereignty, if you're committed to building your fortress. Number 3, the enemy within. Your greatest enemy isn't out there. It's not your competition, not your critics, not the people who doubt you. Your greatest enemy is the voice in your head that sounds like you but works against you. That voice has been programmed, conditioned, weaponized against your own success. It tells you you're not ready, not good enough, not deserving. It replays your failures on loop. It magnifies your weaknesses. It whispers doubt when you need confidence. And here's the twisted part. You believe it. You think it's protecting you. You think it's being realistic. But it's not your voice. It's the echo of every person who ever limited you, every authority figure who told you to stay small, every failure that convinced you to stop trying. Dark psychology teaches us something crucial. The strongest chains are invisible. Physical chains you can break. Mental chains. Most men wear them their entire lives and call it identity. They say, I'm just not that type of person, and they believe it. They accept limitations that were never theirs to begin with. The fortress requires you to identify the enemy within, to recognize which thoughts serve you and which enslave you, to understand that your mind will generate thousands of thoughts today, and most of them are garbage, repetitive, negative, useless. Machiavelli knew that self-deception is the root of all weakness. A man who lies to himself cannot see reality clearly, cannot make strategic decisions, cannot act with precision. You must become brutally honest about your internal dialogue. Catch yourself in the lies, the excuses, the rationalizations, the victim stories, and you must execute them, not suppress them, not ignore them. Execute them with logic, with evidence, with cold, hard truth. This is the purge. This is how you reclaim your mental territory. Comment, I execute weakness. If you're ready to eliminate the enemy within number 4, the art of emotional alchemy. Emotions are not the enemy. Weakness is believing you are your emotions. There's a difference, a massive difference. And understanding this difference is what separates the powerful from the powerless. Weak men suppress emotions. They pretend they don't feel. They build walls and call it strength. Then one day those walls crack and everything floods out. Rage, desperation, chaos. That's not control. That's a pressure cooker waiting to explode. Smart men, Machiavellian men, they do something different. They transmute emotions. They feel everything but express strategically. Anger becomes fuel for discipline. Fear becomes data for better preparation. Jealousy becomes information about what you truly want. Pain becomes the teacher that entitlement never could be. This is emotional alchemy, turning lead into gold, turning reactive feelings into calculated power. Here's how it works in practice. Someone disrespects you. The weak man reacts immediately, explodes, defends his ego, shows everyone he's hurt. The Machiavellian, he feels the disrespect fully, acknowledges it internally, then asks, what's the strategic response here? Does this person matter? Is public confrontation beneficial, or is silent exclusion more devastating? Is this even worth my energy? He chooses his response based on outcome, not emotion. That's mastery. That's the fortress in action. Your emotions give you information. They tell you what matters, what threatens you, what you value. But they should never make your decisions, never control your tongue, never dictate your actions. You are the king. Emotions are advisors. Loud advisors sometimes, but advisors nonetheless. The king listens. Then the king decides. This requires practice, daily practice. When anger rises, you pause, you breathe. You observe it like a scientist observing a specimen. Interesting, I'm experiencing anger. Where is this coming from? What is it trying to protect? What's the intelligent response? When anxiety creeps in, you don't run from it, you interrogate it. What specifically am I afraid of? Is this fear based on reality or imagination? What's the worst case scenario? Can I handle that? The answer is usually yes. And when the answer is yes, fear loses its power. You're not numb. You're not cold. You're calibrated, precise, intentional. You feel everything but bow to nothing. That's the fortress. That's untouchable. Comment, emotions inform. Logic decides if you're mastering emotional alchemy. Number 5, the illusion of reality. Reality is not what you think it is. It's not this fixed objective thing that exists the same way for everyone. That's the lie they sold you, the comfortable lie that keeps you passive. Reality is interpretation. It's the story your brain tells about the data your senses collect. And here's the part that changes everything. You can rewrite that story. 2 men lose their jobs. Same event, same circumstances. One man spirals, depression, victimhood, blame. His reality becomes, the world is against me, I'm unlucky, nothing works out, I'm finished. The other man recalibrates, opportunity, freedom, redirection. His reality becomes, this job was holding me back, now I can pursue what I actually want, I'm being forced to level up. Same event, 2 completely different realities. And here's what's critical to understand. Both realities are constructed, neither is more true than the other objectively. But one reality leads to power, the other leads to paralysis. Machiavelli understood this at the deepest level. He knew that the prince who controls the interpretation controls the kingdom, not through lies, through frame, through perspective, through the narrative that explains events. You are the prince of your own mind, and your mind is the kingdom. Every experience you have passes through your interpretive lens before it becomes your reality. That lens has settings, filters, biases, and most men never realize they can adjust them. They inherit their lens from their parents, from their culture, from their trauma. Then they walk through life wondering why everything looks so dark, why everything feels so heavy, why nothing ever works. The fortress requires you to become aware of your lens, to recognize that how you see things is not how things are. It's just how you see things. And you can change how you see things. This isn't positive thinking, this isn't delusional optimism, this is strategic perception. When something goes wrong, you have a choice. You can interpret it as evidence of your inadequacy or as feedback for your evolution. You can see betrayal as proof people are evil, or as information about who deserves your trust. You can view obstacles as stop signs, or as filters that separate you from the weak. The interpretation you choose creates your emotional state. Your emotional state determines your actions. Your actions produce your results. Control the interpretation, control everything downstream. This is not manipulation, this is mastery. This is understanding that your mind creates the world you experience. And if your mind creates it, your mind can recreate it, redesign it, rebuild it into something that serves your highest vision. That's the power they don't want you to discover. Because once you discover it, you become ungovernable. Comment, I control my lens if you see the truth. Number 6, the laws of mental warfare. Every interaction is warfare. Not violent, not physical, but warfare nonetheless. A battle for frame, for influence, for who gets to define reality in that moment. And most men lose before the battle even begins because they don't know they're fighting. They think social interaction is about being nice, being liked, being accepted. That's what society taught you. Society lied. Every conversation has a power dynamic. Every relationship has a hierarchy. Every situation has someone leading and someone following. You're either setting the frame or entering someone else's. There's no neutral ground. When someone criticizes you, that's warfare. They're attempting to lower your status, to make you defensive, to put you in a position where you're explaining yourself, justifying, seeking approval. The weak man takes the bait. He defends, he explains, he tries to prove the criticism wrong. And in doing so, he's already lost. He's accepted the frame that he needs to justify himself. The Machiavellian does something different. He doesn't defend, he reframes. Interesting perspective. That's it. No defense, no explanation, just acknowledgement and dismissal. Or he agrees and amplifies. You're absolutely right. I'm terrible. You should probably stay away from me, said with a slight smile. Now the critic looks ridiculous. The frame is flipped. When someone tries to manipulate you emotionally, that's warfare. They're using guilt, or fear, or obligation, trying to make you feel something so you'll do something. Your mother, your partner, your boss, they've all done it. Most do it unconsciously, some do it deliberately. Doesn't matter, the effect is the same. The weak man feels the emotion and complies. He can't separate the feeling from the action. He feels guilty, so he must apologize. He feels obligated, so he must sacrifice. He feels afraid of disappointing them, so he must please them. The fortress protects you here. You feel the emotion. You acknowledge it. I notice you're trying to make me feel guilty right now. Then you make your decision based on what's right, not what feels comfortable, not what avoids conflict, what's strategically correct. When someone tests you, that's warfare. And people will test you constantly. They'll push boundaries, show up late, disrespect your time, make jokes at your expense, ask for favors without reciprocating. This isn't personal. This is biology. Humans unconsciously test for hierarchy. They need to know where you stand, how much they can get away with, what your standards are. The weak man fails the test by allowing it, by letting it slide, by being understanding. He thinks he's being kind, he's actually being weak. And on some level, everyone knows it. The Machiavellian passes the test by setting consequences. Immediate, proportional, unemotional. You disrespect my time, you lose access to it. You take without giving, the relationship ends. You violate a boundary, it gets reinforced with distance. No anger, no lectures, just cold, calculated consequence. This is how you train your environment. How you condition people to treat you with respect, not by demanding it, not by explaining why you deserve it, by making disrespect expensive, by making respect the only profitable option. This is mental warfare, and you're fighting it whether you realize it or not. The only question is, are you winning? Comment. I set the frame if you understand the game. Number 7. The discipline of detachment. Here's the paradox that breaks most men. The more you need something, the less likely you are to get it. The more you want someone's approval, the less they respect you. The more desperately you chase success, the more it evades you. The more you fear loss, the more you create the conditions for losing. This is the cruel mathematics of power. Neediness repels, detachment attracts. But detachment is misunderstood. It's not apathy. It's not caring. It's caring deeply while remaining emotionally independent from the outcome. It's wanting something while being completely okay if it doesn't happen. That's the razor's edge. That's the discipline. Machiavelli observed that the prince who desperately clings to power loses it. The prince who holds power loosely, who's willing to make hard decisions even if it costs him support, that prince keeps his throne. Why? Because desperation is weakness, and people follow strength, not need. Look at your relationships. The ones where you needed the person too much, where did they go? They dissolved. They became toxic, or the other person pulled away because your need became pressure, your attachment became suffocation. Now look at the relationships where you were outcome independent, where you enjoyed the person but didn't need them to complete you. Those relationships probably thrived, or if they ended cleanly, without drama, without destruction. Same principle applies everywhere: business, negotiations, opportunities. The moment you signal desperate need, you lose leverage. You become exploitable, controllable, predictable. The fortress requires you to build internal abundance, to reach a state where external circumstances can enhance your life but never define it, where you have preferences but not attachments, where you pursue goals with intensity but hold results with an open hand. This is the hardest discipline because your biology fights against it. Your ego screams for certainty, for control, for guarantees. Your nervous system wants to grip tight, to hold on, to never let go. But gripping creates tension. Tension creates rigidity. Rigidity creates fragility. The oak tree that won't bend breaks in the storm. The reed that bends with the wind survives. Detachment is your flexibility, your anti-fragility. Here's how you practice it. Start small. Someone doesn't text back. Notice your reaction, the anxiety, the need to know why. The urge to double text. That's attachment. That's need. Breathe through it. Remind yourself, my worth isn't determined by their response. I'm curious about their reply. But my day doesn't depend on it. If they're interested, they'll respond. If not, that's information. Either outcome is acceptable. That's detachment. A deal falls through. Notice your reaction. The disappointment, the catastrophizing, the story that this was your only chance. That's attachment. That's scarcity. Reframe it. This wasn't the right opportunity. The right one is coming. I have skills. I have value. I'll create another chance. This is data, not devastation. That's detachment. Someone criticizes you publicly. Notice your reaction. The defensiveness, the anger, the need to correct them immediately. That's ego attachment. That's fragility. Pause. Ask yourself, is this person's opinion actually important? Does defending myself serve my goals, or does silence and continued excellence speak louder? Usually it's the latter that's detachment. You build this muscle slowly, consistently. Every time you feel that grip of need, that clench of attachment, you practice loosening. Not abandoning, not giving up, just loosening, caring about the outcome while being at peace with any outcome. This is paradoxical. This is advanced. This is how you become untouchable. Because when nothing external can disturb your internal state, when you're no longer hostage to circumstances, when you genuinely don't need anything from anyone, you become dangerous, you become free, you become the storm instead of being caught in it. And that's when everything changes. Comment outcome, independent if you're mastering detachment. Number 8, the power of strategic silence. Most men talk too much. They think communication is about filling silence, about explaining themselves, about making sure everyone understands their position. That's weakness disguised as transparency. Words are weapons. And like any weapon, their power comes from precise deployment, not constant use. Fire a gun endlessly, and you waste ammunition, reveal your position, and accomplish nothing. Fire once at the right target, at the right moment, and you change everything. Same with words. Machiavelli understood that the most powerful communication is often what you don't say, the information you withhold, the reaction you suppress, the explanation you refuse to give. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates curiosity. Curiosity creates obsession. When you over-explain, you give people everything they need to judge you, dismiss you, or use your words against you. When you stay silent, they fill the void with their own interpretations, usually interpretations that favor you. Because humans fear what they don't understand. They respect what they cannot fully grasp. Think about the most powerful people you know, not the loudest, the most powerful. They speak less. They listen more. They let others fill the conversation while they gather information, assess, calculate, and when they do speak, people listen because scarcity creates value. This is strategic silence. It has levels. Level 1, silence is information gathering. Stop trying to be heard and start trying to understand. When you're quiet, people reveal themselves, their insecurities, their motivations, their strategies. They tell you exactly how to work with them or against them. They hand you the blueprint to their psychology, and you're taking notes while they think they're having a conversation. Level 2, silence is power display. When accused, the weak man defends immediately, frantically explains. Needs you to understand it wasn't his fault. The powerful man pauses, lets the accusation hang in the air, looks the accuser in the eye, says nothing or says simply, "Is that what you think?" Then silence again. Now the accuser is uncomfortable. Now they're questioning themselves. Now they're the one explaining. Frame flipped, power retained. Level 3. Silence is consequence. Someone disrespects you. The weak man argues, fights, tries to make them see why they're wrong, exhausting, pointless. The Machiavellian goes silent completely. No argument, no explanation, just withdrawal. Suddenly, they can't reach you, your energy is gone, your attention vanished, and humans fear social death more than almost anything. That silence, that absence, hits harder than any words could. They feel it, they understand, and they either correct themselves or they're removed from your life. Either outcome serves you. Level 4, silence is mystique. You don't post every thought, you don't share every plan, you don't announce every move. You build in private, you strategize in silence, you let your results speak. And when people ask how you did it, you smile and say very little. I just stayed focused. That's it. No detailed breakdown, no blueprint, no explanation. They want more, they're intrigued. They're drawn to you because you're not like everyone else desperately broadcasting their every move for validation. You're different, you're private, you're powerful. But here's the critical balance. Strategic silence is not antisocial isolation. It's not refusing to ever speak. It's speaking with intention. It's understanding that every word should serve a purpose, should move you toward your goal, should build your position. Random talking is for random people with random results. Calculated communication is for calculated people with calculated results. You want to know if you talk too much? Ask yourself after conversations, do I feel drained or energized? Did I learn more about them, or did they learn more about me? Did I give away my strategy, or did I gather theirs? Did I look desperate for approval or outcome independent? Am I easier to manipulate now or harder? Your words create your image. Your silence protects your power. The fortress has walls. Those walls exist in what you choose not to reveal, in the thoughts you keep to yourself, in the reactions you refuse to show, in the explanations you never give. Master your tongue, and you master how people perceive you. Master how people perceive you, and you master how they treat you. Master how they treat you, and you master your reality. It all starts with knowing when to speak and when to let silence do the heavy lifting. Comment strategic silence if you're learning when not to speak. Number 9, the ruthless elimination of weakness. You cannot build a fortress while harboring saboteurs inside. You cannot become powerful while keeping weak habits, weak relationships, weak standards, weak beliefs. At some point, you have to cut deeply, decisively, without sentiment. This is where most men fail. Not because they don't know what needs to go. They know. They've always known. They fail because they're afraid of the void. Afraid of being alone, afraid of being seen as cold, afraid of what people will think when they start saying no. Setting boundaries, walking away from what no longer serves them. So, they carry dead weight, and they wonder why they can't fly. Machiavelli was clear about this. A prince who cannot make hard decisions will be destroyed by circumstances that demand them. You either control your environment or your environment controls you. There is no middle ground. Look at your relationships right now honestly. Who drains you? Who takes more than they give? Who calls only when they need something? Who dismisses your goals? Who celebrates your failures? Who makes you feel small? Those people are not neutral. They're not just not helpful. They're actively harmful. They're anchors, and you're trying to swim with anchors around your neck, wondering why you're not making progress. You know what needs to happen. Cut the rope. Not with anger, not with drama, not with a long explanation about how they hurt you. Just distance, quiet removal. They'll notice when you stop being available, when your energy goes elsewhere, when you're suddenly busy. They might ask why you don't owe them a dissertation. I'm focusing on different priorities right now. That's enough. Now look at your habits. The ones you do automatically, the ones you know are destroying you slowly. Scrolling for hours. Porn. Excessive drinking. Junk food. Video games. Complaining. Gossip. These aren't just bad habits. They're cope mechanisms. They're how you avoid feeling what you need to feel. They're how you avoid doing what you need to do. They're how you stay comfortable in mediocrity. The fortress requires you to feel discomfort, to sit with boredom, to face your inadequacy without numbing it. Because on the other side of that discomfort is growth. On the other side of that boredom is creativity. On the other side of that inadequacy is the motivation to become adequate. You're using comfort to avoid transformation, and it's killing your potential. Now look at your beliefs, the stories you tell yourself about who you are. I'm not good with money. I'm not a morning person. I'm just not built like that. That's not possible for someone like me. Every one of those statements is a prison cell you built yourself, and you hold the key, but you won't use it because these beliefs are comfortable. They explain away your failures. They excuse your lack of effort. They protect your ego from the truth. You haven't become who you could be because you haven't demanded it from yourself. The ruthless elimination starts today. Pick one thing, one relationship that drains you, one habit that weakens you, one belief that limits you, and eliminate it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Block the number, delete the app, rewrite the story, then tomorrow, pick another thing and another. This isn't a one-time event. This is a lifestyle. This is constant pruning, constant evaluation, constant asking. Does this serve my highest vision, or does it serve my lowest impulses? Does this make me stronger or weaker? Does this move me forward or hold me back? And here's what happens when you start cutting. Space opens up, energy returns, clarity emerges. You realize how much of your life was occupied by things that didn't matter, by people who didn't care, by habits that didn't serve. And in that space you build the disciplines that create power, the relationships that multiply energy, the beliefs that unlock potential. But you cannot build in a cluttered space. You have to clear the land first. You have to burn down what shouldn't be standing. This is the fire. This is the purge. This is how you become untouchable. Not by adding more, by removing everything that makes you touchable, everything that gives the world leverage over you, everything that keeps you weak. Cut it all. Build from nothing. Build from strength. Comment, I eliminate weakness if you're ready to cut what doesn't serve you. Number 10. The fortress stands. So, here we are, the end of the blueprint, but the beginning of your transformation. Everything I've told you today you already knew, deep down. Beneath the conditioning, beneath the comfortable lies, you knew you were capable of more. You knew you were settling. You knew you had power you weren't accessing. Now you have the framework, the mental fortress, the Machiavellian mindset, the cold psychology that separates masters from slaves. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. And I didn't create this to entertain you. I created this to arm you. So what happens next is entirely up to you. You can close this video and go back to your old patterns, your old excuses, your old comfortable prison. Most will. Most men prefer familiar suffering over unfamiliar growth. Or you can decide that today is the day everything changes, that you're done being manipulated by your own mind, done being controlled by external circumstances, done accepting less than you're capable of. The fortress isn't built overnight. It's built through daily decisions, daily disciplines, daily elimination of what weakens you, and daily reinforcement of what strengthens you. It's built when you catch yourself reacting emotionally and you pause. When you feel the pull of old habits and you resist. When someone tests you and you hold your frame. When you want to explain yourself and you stay silent. When you're tempted by comfort and you choose growth. Every single one of those moments is a brick in your fortress. Every single one of those decisions is you reclaiming your mind, reclaiming your power, reclaiming your reality. Machiavelli wrote The Prince 500 years ago. But the principles are timeless because human nature doesn't change. Power dynamics don't change. The game doesn't change. Only the players change. And you just became a different kind of player. You're not here for motivation, you're here for mastery. You're not looking for feel-good content. You're looking for the raw truth about how power actually works. And that's exactly what Machiavellian Mind delivers every single video. So, if this resonated with you, if you felt something shift, if you're ready to build your mental fortress brick by brick, then show me. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so you never miss a video, because I'm going to keep delivering the psychology, the strategy, the cold, hard truth that most people are too afraid to speak. And I need to know you're serious. I need to know you're committed. This isn't an audience. This is a brotherhood of men who refuse to be average, who refuse to be controlled, who refuse to accept anything less than complete mastery over their own minds. Comment. The fortress stands right now. Declare it, claim it, become it. Welcome to Machiavellian Mind. Your transformation starts now.